Chapter 10. I'll be home for Christmas. You seem different. The boy looks amused as I wave from the drive. I've been waiting, impatient to see him, on the steps outside the front door. Do I? I do a jazzy walk towards him to make him laugh. Yeah. You grown some? He jokily pats me on the head. Yeah, haven't you? I mirror his gesture. I sure have. Look at me, a real grown man now, a grown-ass man who'll be 15 in 2 weeks. You look good, by the way. He raises an eyebrow, and the look he sends me makes me feel hot under the collar. I giggle, suddenly coquettish, like a frivolous French girl in a vaudeville act. So do you, baby, I reply. How you been? He asks. Better for seeing you, I say, and he flusters. I'm sorry. He looks down. It just feels like so long ago. Gotta get used to being here with you again. He smiles, then glances back up at me. It's like you're almost too pretty to look at. His eyes drop to his feet. It's a bit overwhelming, I agree. We walk into the house where Miss Mary greets him with a hug and an offer of something to eat. I think he's more excited about your food than seeing me, I snort, following them into the kitchen. Then you'd be wrong, he says, suddenly serious, before going red again. We're up in my room. He's lying on my bed, tossing a tennis ball into the air and catching it as it falls. You never tell me much about your old life in England, he says. I look up from where I'm sitting against the headboard, drawing. Yeah? Well then, tell me, he insists, impatience creeping in. I grew up in the countryside, in a big old house. I tell him how lonely it was after Tom died. Every day I'd walk down to the beach looking for America. I laugh, even though it reminds me of being sad, missing Tom and something else, something intangible, something I knew I'd find if only I could get back here. Were your folks there with you? They were. They were with me until I came here. It's all a bit blurry now. I glance at him. So, you're a country bumpkin too? He teases. I always thought of you as a cosmopolitan type, but it don't surprise me none to know you're from the country. Kinda makes sense. He trails off. Why did your parents just leave you here? I don't really know, I say, looking into the middle distance. It's a bit sad, isn't it? A bit, he says. It's a whole lot of sad, I suppose. I trace a pattern with my colored pencils. I think mostly because I reminded them of Tom. You ain't bothered by that? Sure I am. But it's human nature. I can't blame them for it. I look out of the window for a moment. It's also a kind of freedom, or at least that's how I've chosen to see it. I don't know. He looks thoughtful. I'd die without Mama. I know. I stroke his hair and put the drawing away. I'm real glad you're home, he says. I'm glad your folks left you here so I can have you all to myself. I giggle. Yeah, I say, me too. I look at him and, because I have no impulse control, I say, with all the drama I can muster, I think my soul wanted to come here to meet you. So it flew here. I think I willed my way to you. For once, there's no joking. The old intensity is back. Miss Mary comes in with a tray of snacks and Coca-Colas, keeping a discreet eye on us. Open a window, it reeks of teenagers in here, she yells. We quickly open one. Yes, ma'am, the boy says. Are you scared of Miss Mary? I ask once she's gone. When she's like that, I am, he says, and we burst out laughing. But I also adore her. Me too, I say. Come over here, he tells me. He's moved around the room and is now patting the edge of the bed. I want to play you a song on my guitar. Yay! I can't wait to hear it. How exciting! I clap my hands. He's getting better each time I hear him play. You should be excited. I'm the next big thing, you know, he says, bright red, looking at me. He's hoping he looks cooler than he feels. I act like he's the coolest cat alive, fawning all over him. He likes that. You're going to be a superstar, baby. I clap again and shower his slightly spotty face with butterfly kisses. He's self-conscious, but I reassure him. It'll clear up. Just be patient. That's easy for you to say, he cries. You're still the most beautiful boy I know, I say, crawling on top of him to pacify him. No, I ain't. He waves a dismissive hand. Why aren't you wearing my ring anymore? He suddenly asks, glancing at my hand. I am, I say, pulling it out from around my neck. I just wear it on a chain now. See? Instead of telling him the truth, that all the other girls at school think it's junk and demanded I throw it away, I just say, it's for sports at school, and to keep the memory of our love close to my heart, which, in a way, is true too. Any boys at school bothering you? He asks, suddenly serious. I hesitate. Should I tell him about Topper, about the party? No, I say, there are no boys at Miss Porter's. It's a girls' school. He searches my face, not quite believing me. I add, you're the only one for me. I say, adding a giggle to the end of the sentence to make light of the situation. Good, he says finally. Keep it that way. It's the first half lie I've told him. The boy's parents have moved to a bigger apartment. It's in social housing. I don't know what that is. Cool, I say. I mean it. It's cozy and everything is new. He has his own room now, so we spend evenings lying on the floor, listening to the radio. We put on Sinatra, then switch to race records, back and forth, everything we love. The programming down here is brilliant. Mr. Sinatra's a national treasure, I say. Sure is, he giggles. You're my national treasure. He grabs me, rolls me around on the floor, and we make out again. International treasure, please. I can barely get the words out between smooches. Whatever. Now just hush up a minute. His mother is religious. Well, they all are. It's the South. So we have to be very proper when we're at his parents'. The door to his room has to stay ajar. They think it's the same at my house, and that Miss Mary, who goes to church every Sunday, keeps a much closer eye on us than she actually does. It's a big house. We can hear her on the stairs minutes before she ever enters my room, and she always knocks before coming in. Not here. His mother wants her son to grow up to be a proper gentleman. There's a fat chance of that happening, I think, as I nod and agree with her and say, yes, ma'am, and thank you, ma'am. I pretend I'm a godly young woman who'll stay pure until the day I marry her son. Otherwise, we're not allowed to hang out. In reality, I don't know if I am. I've already noticed how terribly imperfect I am, and how the boy and I have developed into little liars who smooch when we're alone and can get away with it. We promise to be chaste, and we're sort of already teenage engaged, even though I'm pretty sure I never want to marry anyone, not even him, even if I know I'll love him forever. I know I've never loved anyone as much as him, and I'm convinced I never will. I also know he checks out every other girl when I'm not around, so there's that. Chapter 11. True Love Travels on a Gravel Road. Somehow, I know deep in my heart that no one owns another person, that we belong to no one. But sometimes, if we're lucky, we belong with somebody. The boy weeps when I share this philosophy. I think I'm being profound. He thinks I'm being callous. He truly believes we belong together, that we should, once we mature, get married. He's so upset and so convinced I don't love him as much as he loves me, that I promise he can choose all the films we watch for the rest of the week. To my dismay, he makes me sit through a slew of westerns in the screening room while he chomps on popcorn and drinks Coca-Cola, She Wore a Yellow Ribbon, Colorado Territory, Calamity Jane and Sam Bass, and White Heat. Compromising in a relationship is a nuisance, but up in my room he makes up for it by indulging me as we take turns reading from the stack of new books I brought back from the Gotham Book Mart in New York City. I try to expand his literary palette with 1984 by George Orwell. Now this here's something, he says, totally engrossed. The Sheltering Sky by Paul Bowles. This one's all right, too, he admits. The Second Sex by Simone de Beauvoir. Now hold up, he says, tossing it to the floor. You go on and read that one on your own. The Baron in the Trees by Italo Calvino. I'm keeping this one, he says, flipping through it, for later. It's just weird enough to suit me. And The Kingdom of This World by Alejo Carpentier. Don't move, he says, settling in. This one's got to be read out loud. Sounds better in my voice than it does in yours, anyhow. Afterwards, we decide we've read enough for one holiday season, and that it's more than enough for us to go back to school wiser than a tree full of owls. We need to make out more and forget about all this academic stuff, at least until we have to separate again. Christmas turns into New Year's Eve, when we close our eyes and make secret wishes for 1950, kissing under the moon at midnight. His dad comes running out of the apartment building and warns us not to do that again. "Happy New Year, sir," I shout as he heads back inside. "And to you, Miss Birdie," he calls over his shoulder, already halfway up the stairs. "I've got crackers. Want to set them off?" I ask. "Shoot, yeah," he grins. "Hand him here. The other kids are around too, each with their own stash of fireworks. Dads in horn-rimmed glasses and pomaded hair are everywhere, scratching their heads, trying to keep a group of unruly children safe while also playing with fire. I'm allowed to stay at his parents' apartment tonight, but I have to sleep on the sofa in the parlor. Miss Mary is away for New Year's, visiting family in Arkansas. She'll pick me up in the morning. It's all perfectly respectable, and I'm so helpful in setting and clearing the table that everyone concludes I'm saintly and a good girl. I have to go back to school before his birthday. I give him his present before I leave, a portable record player. I've also bought him a stack of records to go with it, plus a gift voucher for Poplar Tunes, the record shop near his place. "Happy 15th, I say. He thinks it's all too much. "For you, baby," I say, feeling like an adult. Nothing is ever enough. I invite his parents and Miss Mary to dinner at the Peabody Hotel. It's my last night at home before heading back to school. As we walk from the car to the hotel, the boy's father mentions that a local sound engineer named Sam Phillips, who works for the radio station we all listen to at night, is opening a recording service on Union Avenue this month. He's fixin' to start recording local Negro artists here in Memphis, he says. The boy's eyes grow 2 sizes bigger. "For real, Daddy? Now that's something." I smile and add, "One day he'll record you." I nudge him before we take our seats at the table. The boy smiles, then frowns. "But I ain't a Negro," he says quietly. "You're still cool, though." I put my arm on his shoulder. "Never say never," I add. "Now," I say brightly, changing the subject, "what would you all like?" I try to sound like a grown-up host. "I'm sure Grandpa George sends his regards, and thank you all for looking after me for him." The boy's mother gives me a long, sad look. I can tell she thinks I'm going to be more trouble than I'm worth. A pang of anxiety bores through me, but I pretend not to notice. I'll show her. Chapter 12. Celluloid Heroes. I'm out in New York City with Cary Grant, who confides that he's lonely. I've come to the city with Tilly, though her parents have whisked her and her siblings away to a christening. Mr. Grant, in town on movie star business, has offered to take me out for dinner. We spend the afternoon strolling through Central Park. "It's all so hard being who and what I am," he admits, but he's laughing. I try to listen, telling him I'm here if he needs me. "All you have to do is call," I say. He chuckles. "It's almost summer," he observes. He slips easily from Hollywood charm to Bristol nostalgia, telling me about his English boyhood, then, "Keep it under your hat?" I nod gravely. "Of course. I think of England sometimes too," I confess. "How did you find life there?" "I loved it," I say, flinging my arms wide to show him how much. He looks surprised. "You did?" "Yes. I long for those soggy green fields back home." I run ahead and spin along the path, half for his amusement, half because I can't help myself. Yet beneath my perfect mood, I sense I'm only brightening the winter in his voice, playing my part for him as he plays his for the world. "Come here, child. You're drawing attention to us," he calls. "I keep forgetting you're Cary Grant," I snort as I run back to walk by his side. "Thank you," he says, linking arms with me. "That's the kindest thing anyone said to me in years." He shakes his head. "I'm bored with being Cary Grant." "Are you?" I ask, genuinely surprised. I'd always thought being Cary Grant must be the grandest thing on earth. I see a boy I know walking briskly toward us, one of Tilly's old friends from the city. I think he's at Choate with Buddy, but I'm not entirely sure. His name is Holden, and Cornelia has a mad, unrequited crush on him. She thinks he's handsome, brooding, and super clever. He stops to greet us, explaining he's on his way to pick up his little sister and is in a rush. We shake hands, and then he's gone again. Mr. Grant asks me about him. I can't work him out, I tell him. He probably thinks you're a phony and that I'm unintelligent. I laugh. He always says he doesn't like movie stars. Mr. Grant chuckles. I don't blame him, he adds merrily. We're an impossible breed. Hungry? He asks, changing the subject. Always, I reply, leaning into his shoulder. Atta girl. He ruffles my hair as if I were 4. Delmonico's, here we come. Putting his arm around my shoulder, he propels us forward as we skip out of the park and hail a cab. Sometimes I marvel at my luck. Cary Grant, of all people, playing the role of honorary uncle in my American life. It's a waking dream, as vivid as Technicolor and somehow impossibly real. Are you going down south for the summer or coming to the vineyard with us? Tilly asks as we spill out of our last exam. Barring a few end-of-term formalities, we're finished for the year. I shake my head. I haven't decided yet. How do you think you did in the finals? I feel confident. You? Same, she says. I'll probably come out on top. I'm sure you will, I reply. As will you, little birdie. She smiles a rare, tender smile. She grabs my arm, and we run for our bicycles, heading towards Farmington. Freedom! We shout, weaving down Main Street. Tilly's family keeps a compound in Chilmark. Buddy and Topper will be summering that way too, along with a whole crowd of friends. It promises to be tremendous fun. You will join us, won't you? Tilly presses. I shrug. I don't know yet. I'll need to talk to Miss Mary, Grandpa George, and to the boy. You still at it with Lil Abner? Tilly asks annoyedly, wanting my heart anchored in New York with her and the friends we share. Everything else brings her too much stress. I'll let you know as soon as I know, all right? She pouts as she parks her bike outside the movie house. Just don't wait too long, or I'll find someone else for your spot. I long to see the boy, but I know he has a life of his own back home. Sometimes I wonder if I should let go, but the mere thought unnerves me. I want to go home to see him all summer long, but I want to be with these new friends too, and go to all the places I've yet to see. Cornelia and Tilly are smoking outside the cinema in West Hartford. You do know we could be sent down if you're caught, I tell them. Ah, F you and your rule-following ways, Cornelia says. Oh, leave her be, Tilly says. It's good one of us stays a goody two-shoes. She offers me her cigarette. I shake my head. Cornelia laughs. Here we are, 3 promising young virgins, going to the pictures before summer. Speak for yourself, Cornelia adds with a grin. You did not? I ask. No, she admits, but I will if I get a chance. I'm bursting at the seams. She shouts it, just as an elderly man walks by. Sorry, sir, Tilly calls. My friends are deranged, I apologize. What are we watching again? Tilly asks as Cornelia returns with the tickets. Dear Brat, Cornelia tells her, I meant the actual film. That is the film, you banana. All right, shall we? Why not? I say, grinning. I like these two. I've never had friends like Cornelia and Tilly before, fast, loose, a bit wild. They keep me on my toes, and I like who I get to be around them. Word has it the boy has been seen with other girls in my absence. Mabel and her friends make sure I hear about it. I bet none of them are like me, I test. No one is, he tells me over the telephone. There's only one you, but you're so far away, and a man has needs. The cheek of him. I can't help laughing. Your needs, my ass. I chortle. I tell him I'll go with Tilly's family to Massachusetts for the first part of the summer, then come down south to see him later. It'll be hot as hell here, remember? He says. You ought to come right away and stay put. I tell him all right, and he tells me to go to hell. We both laugh. I hold the phone a moment after the line goes dead, wondering which part I'm really playing and what will happen to him if I ever step off the stage.